Seems like I'm going into a powdery theme this week. Going into the powdery section of fragrances. So recently I had picked up a bottle of the latest version of Dior Homme Intense. It's right here, which I featured yesterday in my powdery fragrances video for men. If you haven't caught that video, please do. But what started this off was the fact that I did a comparison video of Pegasus and Pegasus Exclusive, which was from 2 days ago. Go catch those videos if you like powdery men's fragrances. But going back to this particular fragrance, Dior Homme Intense, I just wanted to let you know what this one's all about and tell you a little bit about the comparison of this fragrance with the original Dior Homme Intense previous to this, which I have a little bit of left here in this bottle here, as you can see, if I can turn it around. That's it right there. So the bottles are different, obviously, and I also want to compare it to my lovely, lovely Dior Homme Parfum in here. Not the current version, the 2020 version, but the original version from 2014. I don't think it's gotten an update since then. And also just do an update on the Dior Homme line of fragrances as sold on Dior's website in France in comparison to what's sold here in the USA on Dior.com USA website. So anyway, this is a video about Dior Homme line of fragrances, mostly about the new Dior Homme Intense, but I'm going to update you with all my findings about the whole Dior Homme line of fragrances. So if you're curious to learn about these fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, this is one of my favorite collections of fragrances. In fact, Dior Homme Parfum is my favorite men's fragrance from a designer, obviously. And now I'm kind of starting to really enjoy Dior Homme Intense. In fact, I did enjoy Dior Homme Intense originally before Dior Homme Parfum had launched. But once it launched, I kind of like put the Dior Homme Intense in the back. You know, I thought, you know what, this is what really does it for me. But now that I'm kind of using this stuff up sparingly, because I have not been able to get a hold of the new latest version of Dior Homme Parfum, I've rediscovered this. In fact, I've rediscovered it in here, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. So I did order a new bottle, as I said, and it is different. As you can see, they are completely different bottles. I mean, not completely different, but you know what I mean. But I'll tell you about these two. How do they compare? How similar are they? I don't have prices because these are not sold here in the States. None of these fragrances I'm going to talk to you about are on the Dior.com website for USA. But anyway, I'll update you and tell you what's going on with the whole entire collection in France in comparison to what's sold here on our website. And then, of course, just wish and dream that we can get the latest version of Dior Homme Parfum here as well, because these are not being released here. Anyway, though, before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I did feature Dior Homme Intense in my video yesterday. I didn't feature Dior Homme Parfum because it's not so easy to get Dior Homme Parfum, even though I find it to be very powdery. Of course, Dior Homme Parfum, in comparison to Dior Homme Intense, has a little bit of a leathery touch to it, so it's a little different, but still, it's in the same family. It's also a lot more concentrated, it's a lot more intense, a lot more sexy, but I find this line to be really, really wonderful. I really do enjoy the fragrances from this collection. Dior Homme Intense never launched here, the current version. Dior Homme Parfum also never launched here in the States. They never launched it. And I think a lot of people were buying them from discounters and things like that. I had initially brought mine back way back in 2014, Dior Homme Parfum, from France, a trip to France, because I had learned about the launch of it in the summer of 2014, or somewhere around there. And I was visiting France at the end of the year, so I brought a bunch of bottles back with me, and I've been a fan since then. But these are not getting releases here. I'm not sure if the original Dior Homme Intense did get a release here. In the 2000s, there was a 2007 Dior Homme Intense, I believe, and then there was a 2011 Dior Homme Intense. I'm not sure if those got releases. I wasn't really paying attention to this line of fragrances, but this particular has not gotten a release here. But what's the difference between the new one and the old one? Very similar to me. They wear very, very similarly and perform very similarly as well. So it doesn't look like they have done any reformulations of this particular fragrance from the older bottle here And of course the new bottle here. Of course the new bottle looks like the current version of Dior Homme 2020. I'm going to get to some more details about the current version of Dior Homme 2020. But what is this one known about? So the notes in here are iris, ambrette, vetiver, lavender, Virginia cedar. Those are the notes that are credited to this fragrance. And if you go to the Dior Homme, not Dior Homme, but if you go to the Dior.fr website, it's the French Dior website, here's what it says. Dior Homme Intense, the extreme nobility and sophistication of an ample and powerful Eau De Parfum between singularity and assumed sensuality. Dior Homme Intense unveils itself in a woody amber fragrance with a sophisticated trail, combining the sensual elegance of iris with musky and fruity accents of Ecuadorian Ambrette. Love this note. The intense iris, thus sublimated by an amber facet and a background of precious wood, exudes its powerful charm, a carnal writing whose wake is a call. I do get that with this one. There are ambery touches, of course, and I think the ambery touches are created with the notes combined together, which is fabulous. I love that about a fragrance, or this particular fragrance. And I do notice the muskiness from the ambrette. Ambrette tends to go musky, and I really do enjoy this, but you know, you do pick up some slight fruity and boozy touches with this ambrette note, which makes fragrances really, really wonderful. But I think this one is mostly known for the iris note, not the ambrette. The iris note is really, really prominent, and it's really powdery. It's kind of going into that lipsticky direction a little bit. And here's the little kicker. When I started wearing the new version, and of course as I was wearing this particular one, you know, when it was going down, it started reminding me of the latest Guerlain L'Art et la Matière fragrance, Iris Torrefi. I don't know if you guys have compared this fragrance. I've never gotten coffee from this, but it was reminding me of Iris Torrefi, which is supposed to be inspired by lipstick touching a cup of coffee. I think that's the inspiration for that fragrance. So it features iris, and of course it features coffee as well in the notes. But this one was reminding me of that fragrance. In fact, when I shot my video review for Iris Torrefi, I said that fragrance is really reminding me of this line of fragrances, the Dior Homme line of fragrances. So Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum really does remind me of it. In fact, it's a coffee version of it. So if you guys haven't checked that fragrance out, I highly recommend you go check it out, especially if you like the idea of this or Dior Homme Parfum with like more of a coffee kind of a direction, then definitely go check that one out. Although it is on the pricey side, it's a 75 ml bottle for like $260 or somewhere around there, so it could be pricey. But that fragrance is a lot more easy to buy here in the States because it does have an official launch in comparison to something like this or Dior Homme Parfum. So that's a little segue about this fragrance. Coming back to it, the ambrette and iris work wonderfully together with the Virginia cedar. Of course, you do pick up a little bit of lavender. There are some lavendery touches in here. And I also pick up a little bit of like something like hibiscus or some kind of a flower that's not necessarily so big and pungent, but I kind of get something like that, maybe slight tea-like qualities as well. But it's such a great scent. I'm circling back to enjoying this one because this one is so not so easy to get, and really loving it. So comparing it to this once again, they're very, very similar, in fact identical. I don't see any differences in performance. They work great. In fact, as I was spraying it, I'm not sure if this particular bottle is too tired or a little old, but this one was smelling just a slight bit, like a tiny slight bit better. And it could be the fact that this is a lot fresher than this. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe my nose is playing tricks on me, but other than that, I felt like they were very, very similar, performance-wise, smell-wise. Really, really love this smell. It's a fantastic creation. If Francois Demachy will only be known for one fragrance, I think it should be this, because I think he created an excellent, excellent smell. The smell is key here for me. I don't care how it performs, because the smell is fantastic. It's a great smell, and my nose is attracted to the smell, you know? It's that kind of a great scent. It's an absolutely, I could go to the extent of calling it an orgasmic smell, you know? It's almost like, this is it. This is the one. I love it, I crave it, and I want to smell like it, kind of a thing. So that's what I like about this, and I think this is great that it's out, and they haven't discontinued it, and it's a negative that they're not bringing it here to the States, which is, what the hell are they doing? What is Dior doing? Dior just recently launched jewels for our USA website. What the hell are they doing with jewels in the USA when it was originally launched like 4 years ago for Europe, and they're just now bringing it here, when I'm sure this has much more of a following than this fragrance. How many of you have this fragrance? Let me know. And how many of you have this? Well, let me ask you this question in a different way. How many of you have smelled this one, and how many of you have smelled this one? Probably it's going to be this, because I don't hate this fragrance. Don't get me wrong. I love this fragrance. It's very, very classic. But with current generation, I think this is a much more popular fragrance than this. And what the hell are they doing bringing something like this, which is very mature in comparison to this, on the Dior.com website and selling it? Doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. Whatsoever, it does not make sense to me. But I guess LVMH or Dior's marketing department does these weird tests or something to figure out that maybe the US audience will like this one, so they're going to release it here. I mean, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Here's another thing. So I went to the Dior.fr website and looked up Dior Homme. That's where I got that quote for the fragrance, and the one that I read to you. And on the website, there's all the different versions available. So there's Dior Homme Original. They haven't discontinued it. It's on the website because it's called Dior Homme Original now. They have it listed as Dior Homme Original, and they also have Dior Homme 2020. So what are they doing with this? I don't understand it. Dior Homme Original, Dior Homme 2020 is so confusing to me. Why not call it a different fragrance? I mean, why do you want to rename something or name something Dior Homme 2020 when you still keep the original, you know? That doesn't make sense to me. So on the website, of course, Dior Homme Intense is there. Dior Homme Parfum 2020, or the new version of Dior Homme Parfum, is there. And of course, they also have Dior Homme Sport and Dior Homme Cologne. Those are all the different versions of Dior Homme line of fragrances on the Dior.fr website. Now, move over to the Dior.com USA website. All we have is Dior Homme 2020. Then we have Dior Homme Cologne, and we have Dior Homme Sport. What? I mean, those fragrances don't sell that much. At least the Cologne or the Dior Homme Sport, I mean, they're not even that popular. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, anytime I do a video about Dior Homme Sport or mention it, I don't get much commenting about it. Are you a fan of Dior Homme Sport? Let me know. Anytime I do a video about Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, views and comments are just, you know, constantly coming in. So I don't understand where or who Dior and LVMH turns to get their information about fragrances and does this thing, you know. Dior Homme Parfum, this version and the current version have never gotten their official release here. Dior Homme Intense 2020 also hasn't gotten an official release here, but it's over there in Europe. So I don't understand their marketing department. I don't understand their product department bringing this one in the, you know, in comparison to those fragrances. What? I don't get it. But I'm happy that Dior Homme Original is still not discontinued. I need to buy a bottle of it. I'm pretty, although I have a bottle that's pretty full, I wouldn't mind having a couple of those backed up, because even though I really enjoy Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme Parfum, Dior Homme, the original, is still pretty great smelling fragrances. A lot fresher and of course a lot easier to wear. Dior Homme is an Eau de Toilette concentration. Dior Homme Intense is an Eau de Parfum concentration. And of course Dior Homme Parfum is a Parfum concentration. So in other words, it gets deeper and richer if they go into the Parfum direction, less richer than when it goes to the Eau de Parfum, and of course it's an Eau de Toilette with the original versions. But it's great to have every single one of them if you're a fan of this line. I know that there are people that don't like this line. I don't know who those are. I mean, it's not for everyone, because you gotta love the whole iris thing and of course the lipsticky thing, because this collection reminds me of the lipsticky thing a lot, the smell. But I think the Parfum and the Eau de Parfum are even more lipsticky smelling than the original Dior Homme that was launched way back in 2007, I think, a long time ago. Really a confusing situation with Dior and their fragrances for men. It's really a shame as to what they do. I mean, I personally, ever since I've gotten into this hobby, I never saw Dior Homme Intense sold in any USA stores that sell Dior fragrances. Never did. Never saw Dior Homme Parfum. Have seen Dior Homme, have seen Dior Homme Cologne, have seen Dior Homme Sport. Never the others. Never. Now, Sauvage, on the other hand, they have all three versions. The Parfum, the Eau De Parfum, the Eau De Toilette. That's like mass marketed. So I don't know what Dior is doing. I hope they watch these videos, watch all the YouTubers that talk about this line of fragrances, and see that it's popular here, and they just so they can decide on selling these fragrances here. But then again, maybe Americans don't love these fragrances. That's why they decide to not sell them here or release them here. I don't understand it. But similar situation with Guerlain. Guerlain is also owned by LVMH. Dior, Guerlain, Givenchy, they're all under LVMH, but Guerlain's doing some similar things as well. Like recently, they launched 2 fragrances under the L'Homme Ideal collection. The Cool never got a full release here. The latest one, the Extreme, didn't get a full release here as well. So I was calling around to find out if I can buy it, but they were telling me, nope, it's not going to get an official release in the USA. So I guess maybe that just means that we're not that into fragrances. Is that what that means? I mean, is it what you guys think it means? But let me know your thoughts about this whole situation with Dior and what they're doing with the men's fragrances. And also let me know, have you tried the latest version of Dior Homme Intense? And are you a fan of it? And which do you prefer more? Dior Homme Parfum? Dior Homme Intense? And have you tried the new Dior Homme Parfum? Let me know. If you have it, please do let me know what you think about it. If you like it, if you've compared it to the original, does it smell similar? Because I've heard so many different things about the fragrance. I can't really decide what it is, because some people say it smells so different than the original Dior Homme Parfum. Some people say it smells identical with a little bit of a change. So I don't know what the difference is. Now I'm like really looking around to see if I can get a bottle, because obviously I haven't been able to travel to Europe. I would have been in Europe currently. I usually go towards the end of the year for holidays, but now I have to wait till the end of next year most likely, or until we can travel and this pandemic is over. But let me know if you've sampled Dior Homme Parfum, the latest one, and what do you think about the collection of fragrances, and what do you think about this whole overall situation with Dior and their fragrances? Do you think we're being left out? Do you think there is not a big market for these fragrances here in the USA, or do you think we should get those released here as well? I mean, I feel like from the comments there's a huge following for those fragrances, but according to the decisions that the executives make at Dior and LVMH, they must think that we don't really want them or need them, perhaps, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy to have the new version of the Dior Homme Intense, and as I said, I have really opened back up to this one. It's a great alternative for this one. If you can't get this one does work. The only differences are that this one is a lot deeper and richer, and for me it's a lot longer lasting, and it doesn't have any freshness, whereas this one has some freshness still, but still it's deeper and richer than the original Dior Homme, you know? Anyway, those are my thoughts today on Dior Homme Intense and the availability of the Dior Homme line of fragrances here in the USA. Please let me know if you're easily able to go buy these fragrances. If you are in Europe, please let me know. If you are in the USA, how are you getting it if you are getting it? Because I'd like to find out. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.